Welcome back, everyone. I am the Depressed Dior, and this is Arkham Forward the card game, doing the Scarlet Keys with Jacqueline Fine and Ursula Downs. And yeah, let's go ahead and finish this up. I'm a little bit tired this week. Well, I guess this weekend as I record this. My throat's also a bit scratchy. I've been obviously recording a lot of Scarlet Keys, and I've also been DMing Sword World for my tabletop group, so been talking a lot more than I usually do. In any case, let's go ahead and dive into this. So, unfortunately, due to some mistakes I made on my planning, I unfortunately was not able to go to Buenos Aires, and we got knocked out and taken to Tunguska instead. So, with that in mind, let's go ahead and do the finale, Congress of Keys. Depending on how you got here, if you arrived at this finale due to a status report because time ran out, proceed to intro 1. You awaken in darkness, a sack is removed from your head and cast aside, and your cheek is squeezed and struck once or twice for good measure. Wake up, a sinister voice commands. You blink unconsciousness away and realize with some panic that you and your partners are bound to chairs. A gag prevents you from making any noise louder than a muffled cry. As your eyes adjust to the dim light, you realize you must be underground. The large windowless chamber is made of clean, worked stone, lit faintly by mercury vapor lamps. Scarlet tapestries line the walls, along with several glass cases and several shelves containing old relics and historical artifacts. Dominating the room is an enormous central table, an elaborate pattern of lines and rings carved meticulously along its surface. Standing around this central table are a host of figures, some familiar to you, others unrecognizable. All of them bear red. Your heart surges in your throat. You have been brought here to account for your crimes against the coterie, the voice states, or to be commended if that is the will of Congress. We will not now entertain any who wish to speak on your behalf or against you. All right, and we go to Trial 1. The coterie casts votes to determine your fate. Read the relevant passage from each of the following sections in order and tally all the votes received. Each yea vote represents a coterie member who wishes to see you disposed of. Each nay vote represents a coterie member who wishes to keep you safe. An abstain vote or a vote of silence is neither yea or a nay. All right, so I believe we aided the Claret Knight. We aided the Knight. So, since we aided them, the elderly knight from Alexandria steps forward, commanding the attention of the entire chamber. My esteemed associates, the individuals gathered here before us, despite their unfortunate affiliation, are indeed worthy of our respect and recognition. Were it not for their assistance, my sanctum in Alexandria might have fallen to one of our own, I might add. I believe this demonstrates their value. Some of the others not in agreement. The assembled members look around for a rebuttal, but none arise. Perhaps the beast is nursing its wounds. So the Claret Knight votes nay, and the beast in a cowl of crimson abstains by default because we beat him up. All right, so I have these things here. I'm going to let the health be yay votes and sanity be nay votes. So I'm just going to click on that to represent 1, and we keep on going. Is it AJ? I can't remember how to pronounce her name. 1 second. Yep, it is pronounced AJ. I believe she trusts us. Yep, she does trust the cell. AJ steps forward and clears her throat. I reached out to the Foundation because the twisted antiprism hidden in Istanbul was in danger of being found by a third party. These are agents who responded. Rather than take the artifact for themselves, they chose to hand it over to my custody. I believe them to be trustworthy and, unlike some of our members, morally upstanding individuals. She votes nay. So we're at 2 with that. All right, next, Amaranth. If Amaranth has left the coterie, which I believe is what she did. Yep, left the coterie. Where is Amaranth? One of the others says aloud, causing a murmur to rise among the coterie. She has never missed a meeting. Under your gag, you allow yourself to smile. At least Erin was finally able to get away from the coterie's grasp and assume her real identity at last. Amaranth abstains by default. We made a deal with Thorn, I believe. We made a deal with Thorn. The one known as Thorn steps forward. Our extensive operations require that we collaborate with many across the globe. Researchers, local authorities, criminals, these before us are no different, and they have proven themselves to be quite useful. They aided our efforts in Anchorage and even saw the wisdom in keeping the key there safe in our custody. Thorn votes nay. We're at 3. Aliki. I don't think we've done anything with Aliki. I believe not. Okay. So this will be none of the above. From the shadows emerges a gossamer figure dressed in white, a golden-hued blade sheathed on her back, and a veil of raven hair over her eyes. Her scarlet sash drifts along a breezeless wind. Her words are heralded by a shrill, muted whistling, and she speaks in a language you have never before heard. One of the coterie who seems to understand her tallies this as a vote against you. She votes yay. So that's one. We're alive so far. Before resolving any of the below options, if Desi is in your debt, find the copy that you set aside, and then flip it to its other side. Obviously, since we know his information, we were able to pick the correct one. This is the ally version. If the other side is his story asset version, there's the sudden flare of a match as Desi lights a cigarette. These ones are all right, he says. There's bigger shit going on here. Almost got snatched by you-know-what back in Havana. It helps me out, not that I needed it or anything. Point is, they had my back. Votes nay. So yeah, my previous run, I guessed wrong, and so he ended up being eerily silent instead. We didn't do anything with Aberon. I'm fairly certain we didn't. We did not. A man you do not recognize speaks next. His large imposing frame is dwarfed only by the luster of the enormous ruby ring adorning his left index finger. As fortune's chosen, we have once more been given a great and illustrious boon, he states, his thundering voice commanding the attention of all. Our enemies bound before us? Why dispose of such a gift? What better way to learn how to continue our great work than to question them? Perhaps we can even use them as leverage. Yes, leverage. He trails off, a sinister grin on his face. You almost wish he had voted to kill you. He abstains. No matter what, you cannot see the red-gloved man's face, but you imagine a great and terrible smile. He remains eerily silent. So to keep track of eerily silent, I will put a resource down. If the cell knows the true nature of the coterie, you can immediately skip to trial 6 without telling any further votes. I do not. Otherwise, if 3 or more coterie members are eerily silent, immediately skip to trial 7 without tallying any further votes. If neither are true, proceed as normal. So, I know, Desi, you can get eerily silent if you don't deal with the clone. I'm fairly certain Thorn can also become eerily silent as well. So, not handling those two can definitely result in that. Either by failing, guessing wrong in their respective scenarios, or just, I think if you completely ignore their scenarios, it may also result in the same thing. I don't know if anyone else can be eerily silent or not. But for now, we're okay. So for La Chica Roja, unfortunately, we weren't able to reach her, so it's just gonna be none of the above. A balding man with small ruby spectacles is next to speak, pointing a wiry, jagged finger at another of the simple coterie. Why are these ones on trial here when it is she who has been acting against us? He cries. The woman steps forward, hiding her countenance from view by the brim of a wide-brimmed hat with a scarlet hat band. Acting against us, you say? Wrong. She tips the brim of her hat up so everyone can see her dark brown eyes narrowing directly at the bespectacled man. Just you. You and the others gathered here who wear red just as an excuse to cause chaos. The two stare hatefully at one another for some time, taking the attention off you before proceedings continue. Neither of one seems to pay you any heed. So both of them abstain, but the Sanguine Watcher is the bearer of the Weeping Lady. Okay. So, updated the log accordingly. Alright, we've done nothing with Su San Yang. So, if neither of the above are true, a woman holding a red parasol over her head speaks next with a charming, alluring voice. I am sorry, she begins, her glamour captivating the entire audience. But why are we wasting our time with such paltry matter? Hope rises in your heart that she might speak reason. Just end them and be done with it, she says, without even gazing your way. Your hopes your hopes shatter. So we vote. She votes yeah. So we're at 2 and 4, and she is the bearer of the Shade Reaper. Make sure I spelled that correctly. Yeah, Z then S. Yang. All right. All right. Updated that. All right. And then Tuwel Masai, none of the above because we didn't interact with that person. Thin, clean-cut gentleman with dark skin and striking red glasses step out of the shadows. While this entire ritual smacks of boarding school antics, I believe that any threat to the coterie should be dealt with swiftly and humanely. They are too dangerous to let go. He votes yay. So we started out strong, but thankfully we managed to eke out in the end. On my first run, the yays I think beat me by 1. In this case, if it's a tie, it's the yays win if it's a tie. So you do have to actually, if you do want to avoid being, well, I guess executed. I don't know. In any case, if nays have it, if La Chica, Roja, AJ Sahin, and Desi all voted nay, you may try to convince them to overthrow the coterie. Unfortunately, we didn't get La Chica Roja, so we're not going to be able to do this option. It honestly would not have made too much of a difference gameplay-wise, but it would have been cool to do. And then the other option is if you happen to get Thorn, Tuwile, and the Claret Knight to vote nay, you can also attempt to join the coterie, but unfortunately, I never met Tuwile. So yeah, in both these options, we were missing one person, which was kind of unfortunate. I believe this option does actually have an influence on the epilogue. But other than that, otherwise you've been deemed an asset. We skip to Trial 5. Trial 5. Murmuring and debate erupts throughout the assembled members of the coterie. The gag is taken out of your mouth, and your bindings are cut. With some reluctance, you are brought before the ceremonial table and addressed by the Congress, who tell you that you will be spared so long as you declare your intent to aid and never again interfere in their mission. Given the alternative, you have no choice but to agree. The members of the coterie you have wronged exclaim in protest, but it is clear they are outnumbered. We have been spared by the right coterie spared the cell. All right, and then we go to Trial 8. With the trial proceedings over, the Congress finally reaches other affairs. There is still the matter of the outsiders. One among them states, we have assembled our strength in order to prepare for the inevitable, but how can we be certain our dimension is of any interest to them? We cannot seek to understand such abstruse entities. You chime in, telling the Congress of everything you have seen during your travels and your operations with the Foundation. The strange happenings across the globe have only grown in frequency, and you have reason to believe they are intelligent and malicious. Not mindless and incomprehensible. What's worse, they appear to be after the very same keys as everyone else. If they are stirring, preparing for war, another member declares, then we must do the same. We have among our assembly bearers of the most powerful artifacts this order has uncovered. Let us put them to good use and exterminate this threat once and for all. Nods and murmurs of consent ripple throughout the assembly. But if they are intelligent entities, as our new friends claim they are, how could they possibly know so much of our inner workings? Your detractor argues. A dreadful hunch stirs in your mind. You scan the room and remark that one among the Congress is missing. The rest of the assembly follows your gaze, with several of them standing to search the chamber more thoroughly. One of them confirms your suspicions by raising a single red glove, discarded and forgotten as though mundane and immaterial. The woman in the vermilion veil is the first to understand your thread of logic. Spread out, she shouts, her voice warbling. Find them. Learn where he's heading, but be ready for anything. It doesn't take long before the doorway is found, a shimmering portal of extra-dimensional energy ebbing with eldritch power. It's closing, one of the others observes. Indeed, the doorway seems to be shrinking as it steadily swirls, and soon enough there will be nothing left of it. We don't have much time. Set up 2. So on my first playthrough, I did get set up. I think it was set up 3. I think it was set up 3. Oh no, it was set up 1. Yeah, I ended up getting set up 1. So this time around we're getting set up 2. So I don't know what's going to change exactly. Setup 1 starts out pretty rough because you end up having. Well, I actually rereading stuff. I realized I did something wrong in my first playthrough, but it was actually not in my favor. I spawned in an extra character I should not have, and so I was fighting him much more than I needed to. But so yes, just making sure I did this right. It was setup 2. All right, setup 2 it is. I'll place these down. All right, let's go ahead and read up on all this nonsense. Setup 2. Okay, those are gonna most of this is going to be set up by the scripting, thankfully. Put the Sanctum versions of Scarlet Halls and the 3 Coterie Sanctuary locations into play. Remove the layer versions of these locations from the game. We will be starting in Scarlet Halls. The halls of the Red Coterie's secret hideout celebrate its long history of meddling with humanity. Its walls adorned with ancient relics from past civilizations, scarlet red tapestries, and numerous portraits of important-looking people, all clad in red. All right. Those are fine. Find each coterie member enemy from the Red Coterie encounter set who voted yay, along with the Red Glove Man, and set each of those enemies aside out of play. This set is indicated by the following icon. Note that the following characters may vote yay, but do not have enemy cards in this encounter, so Tuwal, Aberon, and Razin. And then for each member of the coterie who voted nay, find their Conspirator story asset version and put them into play under any investigator's control. Note these story assets are scattered across various encounter sets. Some of them are the reverse sides of enemy cards. Note that Tuwal Masai may vote nay, but does not have a Conspirator story asset. So yeah, unfortunately, I do need to keep track of which guys voted nay. So I believe it was. Or sorry, I need to find the people who voted yay. That will be Tuwal, which I don't believe Tuwal is one of the enemies. Is not, because I believe it mentioned that. Susan Yang is one. Those people abstained, which is actually kind of nice. Yeah, if they abstain, that means they're not going to mess with us. I know someone else voted yay. We had 3 people vote yay. Su San Yang, Tuwal, Aliki. Aliki was the other one. Okay, that's actually not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I think I had like 4 or 5 guys on my first playthrough. I had a lot of people not like me. I mean, to be fair, if we had done the last scenario I was intending on doing, but Buenos Aires, we would have gotten Sanguine Watcher as another one because he would have voted yay. So yeah, that's only those 2. Okay, cool. I mean, technically Tuwal also, but like mentioned, does not care. Okay, so then we need to do it for nay votes. So nay votes, it's going to be all the good guys. It's not going to be you, or you, or you. We will get Desi. We're going to get Desi. We're going to get Claire at Night. We're going to get AJ. We're going to get Thorn. We're not going to get La Chica Roja because unfortunately she abstained and Aliki voted yay and not nay. So that's all good to go. Okay, I was confused why these were set aside, but I remember it's from all that stuff over there. Okay. So one thing we do need to grab as well, in the case of Su San Yang, is the Shade Reaper. Okay, Shade Reaper, we got that for you. I'll move these guys further along. These guys will be set aside, and you can have that. Okay. Also, we need to grab a few more of these. AJ has the Twisted Prism, and Thorn has the Sable Glass. The Claret Knight has the Light of Pharos. And that's all that really matters. Sanguine Watcher has the Weeping Lady, but he abstained because he's too busy being angry at La Chica Roja. Okay. So, as mentioned, for the people that voted nay, I can take the Conspirator story card, and if they have a key attached to them, they will have that key, and they'll be under any investigator's control. So, we got some options. So, all these are the same, except I believe Claret Knight's new for us. Her Sworn Champion, Ally Conspirator, has 4 health, 2 sanity. Lightning Bolt exhausts the Claret Knight. Move up to 3 resources from your resource pool to Claret Knight. Lightning Bolt exhausts him to move up to 3 resources from Claret Knight to your resource pool, or to an asset you control as charges, ammo, supplies, or secrets. I will serve until such time as I am no longer needed. So yeah, this ability is pretty neat. Unfortunately, more often than not, I don't have the money to actually do anything with this. We do have the Light of Pharos with him, though. And then we got Sable Glass with you. Twisted Interprism with you. Alright, so I definitely want AJ to be with Ursula. For the sake of simplicity, we're going to do some stuff over here real quick. Just going to do some quick housekeeping. I don't use armor or any of those, so I'm going to go ahead and just do that. I guess we can just do this. Body, Arcane, Arcane. Okay, so now I can just do that. I wouldn't mind. Thorn can go hang out with you. You can have Desi. And as for the Claret Knight, you can be with Ursula. Alright. Nice batch of keys to play around with. We'll put you over here. Actually, no, you're fine there. Okay. Sorry for taking so long. Okay, set the 3 Outer World locations from the Congress to key set out of play. Shuffle the remaining counter cards. The rules of location adjacency in the realm of outsiders and location of shadows can be found on page 57. Make sure to read or refresh yourself on these rules before playing this scenario. You can now begin. I think I'm missing something. Oh, it just says to take the 3 sanctuary locations into play. Okay. So these locations. Don't know if you're supposed to randomize them, but it seems to be implied. Coterie Sanctuary, they all have the same back. The red coteries inner sanctum is steeped in ancient tradition and ceremony, welcoming and sinister all at once. Okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of double checking. Because, yeah, in the last time I did this, not only did I have to, like, set aside the enemies, I had to randomly grab them and put them in the play, but it looks like it's just they get set aside. That's it. Each member that voted yay or nay. So yeah, anyone that abstained just doesn't participate. So we are in good shape. Okay, let's go ahead and shuffle the encounter deck. Also, the red glove band is like currently missing. Conflicts of consequences. There are 3 agendas. When this agenda advances, if it is Acts 2, 3, or 4, skip the B side of this agenda and proceed directly to Agenda 2A. 3 doomed to advance. So if you happen to go fast enough, you can avoid the consequences. And then there are 4 acts. Secrets and Lies version 2. You have one last chance to explore the Red Coteries hideout before you depart, but time is of the essence. Do not draw cards from the encounter deck during the Mythos phase. Prepare for your journey into the outside and proceed when you are ready. At the end of the round, if each investigator is at the same location they may advance, the sooner the better. Hint, you'll be forced to advance automatically when the agenda advances. Okay, so that's new. We get to, like, prepare. That's crazy. Okay. Let me go ahead. Oh, let me read about the tokens. Skull is minus X, where X is the current act number, so right now it's minus 1. Cultist is minus 5. You can flip a stable key you control to its unstable side to treat this token modifier as minus 2 instead. And then Tablet is minus 2, and if this attack is against a ready outsider enemy, you automatically fail instead. Yeah, this thing is rough. And then the Elder thing is minus 3. Cancel the effects and icons of each card committed to this test and set them aside out of play as hollows. Note that that happens even if you pass the test. So yeah, at this point, whatever you accumulate is going to give you a hard time one way or the other. All right, let me put a break here and BRB. All right, so one thing to note, since we didn't actually get to Buenos Aires, we do still have the effects of both Bermuda and Rome. So we do start with an extra resource and an extra card at the start. So that is what we're going to do. Because as far as I know, it still works on the final scenario. Alright, level 5 Shriveling, got a Sword Cane, got a Spectral Shield right off the bat. Uncaged the Soul and a Whispers of Doom. All this is pretty nice. The only thing that kind of sucks is we don't really have anything for the Spectral Shield at the moment. Let's set aside the Spectral Shield for now, as well as the Fearless, and see if we can get something a little bit better. Okay, that is what I definitely wanted, was an Arcane Initiate. Alright, and then over here, we will deal the orange. Alright, Gold Pocket Watch, thank you. I welcome that greatly. Starting with a Pathfinder. Alright, these we don't want. At least not right now. 1, 2, 3. Double Pathfinder. Not sure if I'm going to go double Pathfinder. Alright. So with all that in mind, shuffle this, and I think we're ready to go. I apologize if I'm making mistakes. Like I said, I've never done the version 2. 2 Shroud, 0 Clues, Lightning Bolt, exhaust a Conspirator asset you control, move to a connected location. Perhaps if you had a guide, these labyrinthine halls would not be so perplexing. Okay, so even these locations are different. Yeah, if on the version 1, this thing actually had a really nasty effect where it made it harder to move out of. This is the complete opposite. Okay, cool. With that in mind, let's go ahead and get started. So, first action, obviously, we're going to go ahead and get out the Arcane Initiate. We will take... we'll take the Horror. I'm going to go ahead and search top 3. Rite of Seeking. And of course, my weakness was on top again, because I'm cursed. Then I'm going to go ahead and spend 3 to get out of Shriveling. I am going to go ahead and exhaust Desi to move somewhere, and we'll see what's here. I don't know how much setup I'm going to do, because I don't really know what to expect here. Alright, we have already read that. Okay, 3 Shroud, 2 Clues. Action, exhaust a Conspirator asset you control. Search the top 6 cards of your deck for an asset, draw it, and shuffle the rest into your deck. The ceremonial chamber where your trial took place is dominated by an enormous table and lit by candle lights. Extravagant decorations adorn the walls, crimson in color. Good times. Alright. Let's go ahead and I'll do that action. I'll search top 6 for an asset. It's gonna probably whiff. Eyes of the Dreamer. I will take that. All right. That'll give us something to play around with. All right. For Ursula, was this at the end of the turn? Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I also don't know what the clues here are for. I mean, I think I have an idea what it could be used for, but yeah, having this ahead of time, not sure what to think about it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let's do something like this, actually. I know it's a little awkward, but I need someplace to put AJ's stuff. All right, speaking of AJ's stuff, let's look at top card. Red clock, okay. So we can put that there. I can then shift the Light of Pharos as a lightning bolt to play a card at -3 cost and then flip it to unstable side. So as a lightning bolt, I'm going to put out a Pathfinder for free. Since I shifted a card, I get to grab the cards off of AJ. I'll take the red clock. First action, I'm going to go ahead and spin 2 to get out red clock. I will spin 2 as a second action to get out gold pocket watch. Next, I'm going to Cryptic Research and get 3 cards. Okay. Then I will Pathfind move up to here. Since I moved, I will go ahead and attempt to investigate. I will spend 1 to do a Practice Makes Perfect. Search top 9. I'll pick Deduction. So right now that puts us at 5-3. Yep, 5-3 is fine. I will flip a stable key you control to its unstable side, so I'll do that for the Antiprism to make that a -2. So I do pass. I'll get both clues here. This will go into my hand because a Practice Makes Perfect. Since I got the last clue from this location, I will go ahead and do Crack the Case to get 3 resources. And then for my last action, well, I'll go ahead and spin 1 to get fast out a Segment of Onyx. And then I will spend an action to go ahead and search top 6 for an asset. I'll take the Witten Green and shuffle that. All right. That is it. There are no enemies. Upkeep. Upkeep. And then at the end of the turn, we could decide if we want to advance immediately. Honestly, I kind of want to just go in at this point, as long as we're at the same location. Like, honestly, this setup is... I can't complain about this setup. I mean, the only thing I could do before I go is try to get these things fixed. Which would be an option. But honestly, I think I'm okay with what we have. So I think we will go ahead and advance. Another World version 2. You step through the portal, uncertain if you will ever return. Remove Agenda 1A from the game, removing all of its doom to Agenda 2A. Remove each location from the game. Investigators are not defeated during this process. Other enemies and attachments are at those locations are discarded, and concealed minicards are set aside. Put the Knotted Tower, Gravity Defying Climb, and the Towering Vertex locations into play. All right, let's go ahead and do all this in order. So it says, remove each location from the game. I think I misread this on my other playthrough. What I misread was I think I set them aside, assuming I would be coming back. Joke's on us. We're probably not coming back. All right. Then we go and grab the Knotted Tower and all that good stuff. So other world locations. So we got the Knotted Tower, Gravity Defying Climb, and then the Towering Vertex. Yeah, with the Towering Vertex on top and the Knotted Tower on the bottom. Take the top 3 locations of the Otherworld deck and place them in the shadows. So I'm going to shuffle and then take the top 3. 1, 2, 3. Arrange them in line from left to right, which I just did. Take the 3 City of Remnants minicards and X decoys, where X is the amount of doom on Agenda 2A, and shuffle them face down. And distribute them as evenly as possible around the Knotted Tower to its left, right, and below. All right, so in here we have the Cities of Remembrance. We currently have 0 doom, so we don't get any decoys. All right, and the way this works is shuffle them face down and distribute them as evenly as possible around the Knotted Tower to its left, right, and below. So what we're going to be doing is actually doing this. Place each investigator at the Knotted Tower and the Red Glove Man enemy at the Towering Vertex. Shuffle each set-aside Code Ray enemy into the encounter deck. Note from now on, draw cards from the encounter deck during each Mythos phase as normal. All right, so in here we have the Red Glove Man. This is, yeah, he's his usual self. So remember the final or purpose unknown. So yeah, the reason why I was a little hesitant, I knew the Red Glove Man was going to probably crop up soon. And obviously trying to get things off unstable side is going to be painful because he will stab you. But since he doesn't have any keys himself, I think he'll be okay. But we do need to take these 2 and shuffle them into the deck now. Like so. All right. So we got that going for us. I'll go ahead and read about the locations real quick. The Knotted Tower, Otherworld, in the nexus of this jumbled Otherworld rises the tower, a sinister structure of assorted materials climbing out of the Tangled City, looming countless stories over you like a skyscraper of forgotten architecture, and otherworldly mist snakes around the tower's length, flanked on all sides by barren, jagged peaks. Gravity-defying climb. The gate to the Gravity-defying climb is sealed and forgotten. As an additional cost to enter the Gravity-defying climb, investigators at the Knotted Tower must spend 8 clues. So getting clues ahead of time is actually helpful. And then the Towering Vertex, Ruinous Conflux. The Red Glove Man cannot be defeated. The way to the Towering Vertex is impossibly perplexing. In order for an investigator to enter the Towering Vertex, concealed mini-cards around Gravity-defying climb must be exposed by in the following sequence: city left, essentially left, middle, right. I definitely made a lot of mistakes on my first time playing this type of thing. It's very similar to the version 1, mainly because I forgot to advance an act when I was supposed to. In any case, so with that, we have everything good to go. So right now we're in Agenda 2A now, the World Unbidden. 10 Shroud to advance, and I'm not going to try reading that. Act 2A, to the Tower. Beyond all of known reality, in the dimension known only to the Forgotten and the Forsaken, lies the preposterous City of Remnants, the home world of the Outsiders themselves. Looming before you, a terrifying, twisted tower of jumbled architecture is a nexus of roiling mist and clouds across an alien sky. Locations and concealed minicards cannot be placed adjacent to tower locations. find a way into the tower where the infiltrator lies in wait. If an investigator enters the gravity-defying climb, you advance. So yeah, up here we can't actually put any concealed cards. Speaking of concealed cards, we do have new rules. I think it's in here. Nope, it doesn't talk about it here. Location can be found page 57. So we'll put this at page 57. All right, locations, adjacency, and the realm of outsiders. So usual rules, if anything's adjacent, is connected. Same thing for during the scenario, sealed mini cards are also placed adjacent to one or more locations as above instead of placed at locations as normal. So locations and shadows. Concealed mini cards adjacent to a location are considered to be at that location for the purposes of card abilities and game rules. So for right now, all three of these cards can be, you can reveal them from the knotted tower because they are adjacent. When a City of Remnants mini card is exposed, set it aside and find the City of Remnants in the shadows whose position it matches. So we do have a left, middle, and right. So for example, if we got the middle one from like revealing a concealed card, we would reveal this one. After a City of Remnants location leaves the shadows, place the top card of the overworld deck in the shadows in the position where you just exposed City of Remnants, the just exposed City of Remnants was, without looking at its other side. Then resolve its concealed keyword, placing each of its concealed mini cards arranged as evenly as possible in empty spots adjacent to the just exposed location. There must always be 3 City of Remnant locations in the shadows if possible. More than one concealed mini card may occupy the same spot, but no concealed mini cards may occupy a spot where a location is already present. So if that ends up happening where you reveal a location, any of the other concealed cards will just get distributed again. All right. So yeah, the mistake I made was I completely forgot to advance, so I didn't know how to actually go beyond the gravity-defying climb. And so I thought I was supposed to do a lot of things down here, and you actually don't need to do a lot down here. So with that in mind, we are now going to be in the Mythos phase. And I could have the watch go right now, but I think I'm going to go ahead and draw. I'm going to go ahead and draw Mythos cards for this first round. So yeah, we'll go ahead and take the one Doom and see what happens. We'll shuffle this one time and go. Touch of Beyond. Place 1 Doom on an asset you control with the highest permanent resource cost. If no Doom was placed by this effect, Touch of the Beyond gains Surge. I felt a curious humming from deep within, as though I were being called elsewhere. Okay, my highest cost is the Shriveling. Alright, a little annoying. And you also got it. It has to be highest cost, so it's going to go on my Pathfinder, unfortunately, and there's no way I can get rid of it. Well, that ate up some rounds. Okay, well, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and flip this location over. The Knotted Tower, 3 Shrouds, 0 Clues. As a reaction, after a location is placed adjacent to the Knotted Tower, you can move to it from the Knotted Tower. And o'er it all loomed the blasphemous effigy, a ruinous testament to conquered worlds. All right. Good times. So, yeah, all we need to do now is just get to the gravity-defying climb to advance. We already have 2 clues. We only need 6 more to make this happen. All right. So, let's go ahead and start with Jacqueline. I don't need to worry about the Sable Glass, really. Alright, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and search top 3 for a spell card. I'll take a Voice of Ra. Actually, we'll take a Deny Existence. No, we're doing Voice of Ra. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and spin 3 to get out a Eyes of the Dreamer. Then I'm going to go ahead and investigate with Eyes of the Dreamer. This will put us at 5 to 3. I will use my ability with it. Alright, I'll take the -1. And I'm going to go ahead and reveal this one. This is the middle one. When you expose this location, if it is in the middle position in the shadows, choose a non-weakness card in your hand and set it aside out of play as a hollow. Okay, I will pick this Rite of Seeking. And since I did trigger that, I will go ahead and use Thorn to give myself an immediate action. So I'll just represent that by flipping this back over. In any case, this location is now over here. And then we grab another location and just replace it. One thing I want to check real quick. Take the place in the shadows, ranged in a line. Okay, yeah, those were all fine. Okay, but now since now we have to resolve these appropriately. So this has concealed 1, so we put 1 decoy, shuffle it, and then we just distribute them, kind of like this. Okay. So I have to take an immediate action as if it were their turn. So I'll go ahead and do that now. So when you expose this location. Yeah, I'll just use that to do Voice of Ra. Reveal 3 tokens. Alright, get 3 resources in total. Alright, as a reaction, I will do the Knotted Tower thing, and... Actually, no, I'll hang out here. I'm fine with that. Because I'm not in that much of a hurry. Yeah, I'm just going to try to reveal another location here instead. So I'll do a 5-3. This time around... I'll just go 5-3. If I fail, I fail. It's -2. I do pass just barely. We'll take the bottom one. This is the right one. If it is on the right position in the shadows, take 1 horror. Sure, you can take it. And then I'll get another location. Like so. Okay. And, you know what? As a reaction, I will move down. Let's see where that puts us. Okay. After you reveal Cliffs of Insanity, move each concealed mini-card adjacent to it so they are arranged as evenly as possible in empty spots adjacent to locations not named Cliffs of Insanity. So we get to take all of these, shuffle them together, and literally put them up here. All right. And that'll be it. Okay. Not a big deal. All right. Goes to Ursula. So at the start of her turn, she's going to place this. First action, I'm going to go ahead and... Well, before I do an action, I'll reveal the top card. Sure. We'll put that down here. All right. I'm going to go ahead and spin 4 to get out Witten Green. All right. And, I mean, to be honest, we don't really need... I mean, it's quite possible we have all the clues we will ever need just from these 2 locations. So maybe I'll just beeline for that. Because, yeah, if we only need 8, this might be doable. All right. Well, with that in mind then, let's... Pathfind down. I will use my ability to investigate. This is going to be 5-3. We'll go 6-3, 8-3. All right, we pass. We get 2 clues here. And we draw a card. All right. We get to trigger this fun thing. Paradimensional understanding. You must either choose one, immediately shift an unstable key you control, or flip each stable key you control to its unstable side. So unfortunately, I have to do one of these. And both of them are pretty bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do the Twisted Antiprism. And I'll put a Doom on this segment of Onyx. Also, actually, I was at a higher modifier. I completely forgot about Red Clock. But that's okay. We'll just take it as is, since I already did it. So it's going to flip to its stable side. I'm going to get punched for 1 and 1, which I will take. All right. Does still flip, though. So that's good. All right. And that is it. Yeah, so it's a good idea to actually have, in my first playthrough, I was always concerned about the keys. Like I felt like I shouldn't be using them as much. But it's actually a good idea to at least have one used because of this thing. All right. In any case, I'm down here now, so let's go ahead and investigate again. We're 5-3. Oh yeah, Skulls by the way are -2 right now because we're at Act 2. I'll commit a plan of action. Goes 6-3, and we pass. We get to draw a card because this is our second action. Okay, that is useful. All right, get one clue here. And then last action, I'm just going to investigate one more time. We'll go 5-3. And get the last clue. All right. Clues got. We're in pretty good shape now. All right. No enemies. Upkeep. Whispers of Doom. Cool. Upkeep. Call of the Unknown. That's going to be a thing. I mean, I definitely have a location I can work with. I'm going to go ahead and pop the Gold Pocket Watch now. And skip the Mythos phase. And then, yeah, skip the Mythos phase. Investigation phase. I'm going to start with Ursula. This will be the location I mark. On a Pathfind move. Well, first I will... Oh, actually, since I shifted the Twisted Antiprism, I'll go ahead and grab this Grim Memoir earlier. Because I was supposed to. It's forced. I have to. All right, I'll take a look at the top card. Yeah, sure, whatever, put it there. Also, Jacqueline will go ahead and use the Lightning Bolt to take a look at top 3. We will take a Deny Existence. Alright. I'll Pathfind move and then regular move. So, 1, 2... Force Shroud, 2 clues. After you revealed Wield of Effigies, look at the top card of your deck. If it is not a weakness, set it aside out of play as a hollow. Thank God it wasn't one of our segments pieces. Also, since I've revealed a location, I will go ahead and do top 9 for Wet and Green. Yeah, that effect does go off first because it's forced. I'll grab this segment of Onyx. Cool. And then I will use my ability. Oh, actually, sorry. Let's rewind. I forgot to place this. So I can actually move 2 times with the red clock. So that's what I'll do instead. All right. Now I'll use my ability. Okay. This puts us at 5-4. This is still action 1. I'll commit a survey of the area. Go 9-4. That's -5. I passed just barely. Thank you, survey the area. I'll get a clue. This is resolved. I will fast out a segment of Onyx. Actually, let's not fast out the segment of Onyx yet. Also, as a lightning bolt, if there are no clues on wheeled effigies, either swap the the positions of 2 concealed mini cards adjacent to locations, or swap the positions of 2 locations in the shadows. Group limit once per game. Don't really care. I'm going to go ahead and draw a card. I'm going to draw a card. And then last action, I'm going to go ahead and we'll try to investigate. We will go 5 to 4. We'll go 6 to 4 with deduction. We pass. I don't care about the extra clue. I just wanted to get this clue. Then I'm going to pathfind back to here. Yep, we're good to go here. That is it for Ursula. Good times had by all. All right. Oh, actually, I will go ahead and fast out the segment of Onyx now. Okay. All right, over here with Jacqueline. I'm going to... At this point, I'm just going to move twice. 1, and then 2. This will get rid of all 8 clues here. Alright, 4 shrouds, 0 clues. When a concealed minicard around the gravity-defying climb is exposed, if it is the next in the sequence listed in the towering vertex, it remains in play and exposed, and you may expose another concealed minicard. Any other minicard, flip it, and each other concealed minicard face down without shuffling them. Okay. So we do advance because we hit the gravity-defying climb, which also means skulls are now -3s. Into the tower. 7 forgotten locks grant entry to the tower, each one a piece of history from a realm long since erased from time. You forgot they exist the moment the gates open. On the other side, steps course their way up the spire's baffling length, winding and perplexing. And seemingly infinite. The ascent to the apex of the tower that binds this world together is paradoxical. A Gordian knot twisted far too many times. Even if you make it to the top, you doubt you will ever find a way back. Set each concealed minicard aside out of play. Remove each City of Remnant in the shadows and the remainder of the Otherworld deck from the game. So these are gone now. Alright. Let's grab all of these. All right, and then take the 3 City of Remnants concealed minicards and 2 decoys, shuffle them face down, and arrange them around the gravity-defying climb in a random order. There we go. Act 3, The Ascent. A terrible feeling of vertigo washes over you as you begin to scale the Cyclopean Escher-esque steps. Only one way to go now. Ascend. If an investigator enters the towering vertex, advance. Okay. So yeah, the way this works is we need to reveal, as mentioned before, we have to reveal the City of Remnants in order of left, middle, and right. We do have 2 decoys. And unfortunately, unlike other decoys, these ones will stay even if we flip them. So, let's see. Next sequence listed in the towering vertex. It remains in play. Yeah. So once we know the order, all we have to do is essentially activate it once, and we'll be good to go. And also, even if you fail, it just flips them back over. They don't get reshuffled. Now, if we do spawn something that does add... Yeah, if we end up getting things that are concealed spawning here, this will become a lot more dangerous. In any case, let's go ahead and do what we can. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Sable Glass. Look at the revealed side of any concealed minicard at your location without exposing them, and then flip it to its unstable side. I want to look at this one. This is the decoy. Okay. And then I'm going to get to work. I'm going to go ahead and investigate. I'm going to use Eyes of the Dreamer. This will put us at 5 to 4. We'll go 8 to 4 and use our ability. Thank you. I'll take the +1. And I get to draw 2 cards. I trigger this. I'm going to go ahead and trigger immediately shift an unstable key you can control. I'm wondering if this can still work even after you've already shifted. I think you can. Because I think it's just activated effects. Can only be shifted once per round. Let me check that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going to assume I can't, which means I have to shift all of these, which really sucks. Alright. In any case, I did succeed. So I will go ahead and reveal a concealed card. Alright, I now know where both decoys are at. Alright. Yeah, having all my keys shifted does kind of suck. I mean, either way, I would have been screwed either way. If I hadn't used Disable Glass, it still would have been the same result. Alright, upkeep. Alright, Mythos. We're at technically 5th Doom. Dissonant Voices. Secrets Lost. Test Willpower 3 for each point you fail by. Search a non-weakness card in your hand. Choose a non-weakness card in your hand and set it aside out of play as a hollow. If you succeed by 2 or more, you can instead get a hollow back. I'm currently 4 to 3. And that is really all I care about. 4 to 3. Alright, I failed by 3. So I will set aside this. This, and this, and that'll be it. Alright. Alright, investigation phase. I'm going to start with Ursula. We'll put Call of the Unknown over here. I will place this and get a 3rd action. Or sorry, 4th action, rather. I will go ahead and use AJ. Put this on top. Oh, sorry, I did forget something did get shifted, so this should go back. Should have gone into my hand. Actually, with that in mind, I will pick Jake Williams as what I throw away instead. Okay, because that should have happened earlier. All right, that's done. I'm gonna go ahead and Pathfind move up to here. I'll use my Actually, no, I'm not going to Pathfind move yet. I'm going to go ahead and use 2 actions to gain resources. And then I'm going to spend 3 to get out a Grim Memoir. And then I'm going to Pathfind move. Now I'll do the Investigate off of it. So this will put us at 7 to 4. Cool. Alright, 7 to 4 again. Jacqueline will use her... Oh, actually, she hasn't had her turn yet. Yeah, I'll go ahead and just do it. 7 to 4. Hey, we passed that time. I can move, but I'm not going to. I will draw a card. Thank you. And left. Okay, that is the one we do want. Alright. Go to Jacqueline. Let's go ahead and search top 3. I will take that Spectral Shield. Alright, next I'm going to go ahead and investigate. We're going to go 5 to 4. We'll go 7 to 4. And I will use my ability with it. Alright, I'll take the -1, which will put us at 6-4, which means I pass by 2 and heal 2 horror. This one. It is the correct one. Left, middle, and right. So I just need to do one more, and I will have won the... well, I won't win the game, but I will definitely be in a pretty good spot. Alright, I'll investigate again using Eyes of the Dreamer. At this point, I am going to go ahead and just spend 3 and get go 5-4 and hope it's enough. Yep, 5-4. Good luck. Oh, sorry, it's going to be that many tokens. I'll take the +1 and reveal it. There we go. Oh, also, we did succeed on at least one investigate, so that's fine. All right, that is in order. The way to the towering is impossible. Must be exposed in the following sequence. Oh, wait, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot. So this effect, if it's the next in sequence, you can keep revealing. So actually, all of it should have been revealed on Ursula's turn, which means I don't need to do any of this. Oh, I set it aside, that's why. Yeah, the person that first revealed something was Ursula. She succeeded, and I was going to go in this order regardless, so it should have revealed all 3 of them. So that means on Jacqueline's turn, I didn't need to do any of this, which means this goes back. I still take 2 horror. My ability's back. That's still fine. And instead, we're just going to move up. And reveal this. 6 Shroud, 0 clues. When a concealed mini card around the towering vertex is exposed, if it is the Mimetic Nemesis mini card, deal the Mimetic Nemesis 3 damage, then flip all concealed mini cards face down and shuffle them face down. If it's a decoy, it remains in play exposed. Alright. We did reach the top, so we do advance. This also means skulls are now -4. So yeah, my apologies for having to backtrack like that, but honestly, that saved me 2 actions, essentially, so I will take it. Alright, windows and doors. With Herculean efforts, you practically crawl from the final step to the tower's pinnacle. Twisting clouds of crimson and violet clash in a multi-dimensional sky. Infinite gateways to infinite worlds, all of them oblivious, all of them blind, all of them theirs for the taking. You look out upon the world of the outsider with both awe and pity. Upon the countless worlds worth of ruin they have collected, discarded, forsaken, lost to all time. It is a garbage heap of cosmic proportions. At the very center lies your foe who has orchestrated humanity's erasure. Its body only scarcely resembles that of the red-gloved man now, with no human face to wear. Its gaze is empty, its expression unknowable. Set each concealed minicard aside out of play, then swap the set-aside Mimetic Nemesis enemy with the red-gloved man enemy at the towering vertex. That's why I didn't bother engaging him. Alright, Mimetic Nemesis, Infiltrator of Realities. Ancient 1, Outsider Elite, 5 combat, 5 evade, 3 health. Actually, it has 9 health. Massive cannot make attacks opportunity. When the Nemesis would take 1 or more damage from an attack or player card, choose and reveal a concealed mini card. If it is a decoy, cancel all damage just dealt. Otherwise, the damage is dealt as normal. Then flip all mini cards face down and shuffle them. Hits for 3 damage and 3 horror. The final you brandish the keys you have collected and brace yourself. If you cannot this entity and this, it will be and none will ever be the wiser. This is it. Your actions: flip a stable key you control to its unstable side, remove an exposed decoy from the game. If it is defeated, advance. All right. So we got that going. Good news is it can't make a tax opportunity, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shift this because the red glove man is no longer on the board. So I need to take the... Each investigator sets the non-weakness card in their hand with the highest printed cost aside out of play as a hollow. So for me, it's just a non-weakness card. All right, I will pick the Eyes of the Dreamer. And it'll be set as a hollow, and then I'm going to exhaust Thorn to get immediate action. Also, I have to do this for the other side, which unfortunately is going to be the Grim Memoir. Not much I can do about that. Alright. Can't do Last Blossom. I am going to shift the Mirroring Blade. Everyone can take a damage. Anyway, I'll take this immediate action, though. So for my immediate action, I'm going to... 6 Shroud, huh? But if I hit the guy, it's fine. Alright. Well, I can still try to commit cards and hope for the best. I am currently engaged with an enemy. Oh, I can't play anything yet. Dissonant Voices. Alright, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just spend 3 charges and my ability and commit a Fearless and investigate this location. So 7 to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, I will take the 0. We'll get to heal only 1 horror, unfortunately, because I only beat it by 1. But then I can reveal any of the... Oh, actually, I need to actually do this. My apologies. I forgot to set this up. These go away. Alright, so here you can see we have all that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reveal a card, a decoy. It stays revealed. Alright, so next round I'll be able to do something about that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and just keep investigating. My other option is I could move away, because he doesn't make a tax opportunity. I think that might be what we do. Because as far as I can tell, nothing else changes. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just fall back. I could stay there and just take a hit, which wouldn't be the end of the world. But what would I do with my last action? The thing is, I don't want to commit the cards I have to do what I want to do. So I want to get rid of this Dissonant Voices first. Okay, enemy fades. Enemy get to do anything? Yeah, it literally can't do anything unless it doesn't even move. Doesn't even have Hunter. So upkeep. Okay, I have 8 cards. Good. Upkeep. Antikythera, a bit late. Mythos. We are up 6 to 10. Substance Dissimulation. This would force me to discard things. I'm just gonna say no. I'll take the horror and ward that. And then over here we have Paradimensional Terror. Peril. You must decide. Flip each decoy over. Shuffle all concealed mini cards in play. Then place them face down at random in the positions they were in. Or each investigator takes 1 damage, 1 horror. We will take that damage and take that horror. So here, you take that damage. You take that damage, and you take, oops, sorry. Did that all wrong. So I was at 1, should be at this. Yeah, I should have taken 1 damage there. Yeah, I did it. Oh no, I did that all wrong. Give me a second. Okay, I had 1 damage because I did the Mirroring Blade earlier. So I put 1 damage on Desi, 1 horror on Jacqueline, so that's resolved. And then a horror on Witten, and we'll put a damage on Claret Knight. Because I can. Actually, you know what? We'll put a horror on Ursula. Fine by me. Alright, investigation phase. Oh, also shift card did shift, so I should have gotten that cryptic research earlier. Okay. Call of the Unknown's going to go up here. And then I'll go ahead and do AJ. Okay, White and Green could go there, that's fine. I'll go ahead and do Cryptic Research, top 3. Or actually just 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I'll fast out a Magnifying Glass, and then I will fast out a Segment of Onyx, which will get rid of this this Doom at least, which is kind of nice. Oh, also, I'm going to take all the resources off this, because I needed to do that. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and... I'll go ahead and Pathfind move up. And I'm going to attempt to investigate. I'm currently 6-6 with Magnifying Glass and Witten. I'll go ahead and do Grim Memoir to go 8-6. And I'll spend 1 to do Practice Makes Perfect, search the entire deck. I'll pick Survey the Area. Alright, so 8. We are 12-6. That is 11-6, I believe. I definitely pass. This will go in my hand. I get a card from Grim Memoir. And more importantly, I get to reveal another card. I'll reveal this one. Okay. Well, I did 3 damage. That's the good news. I also get rid of this Call of the Unknown. But that does mean everything gets flipped and shuffled again. I was hoping to not have to do that, but that's okay. I was hoping to have a decoy revealed so I can get rid of it with my key. So instead, we will do what we can right now. All right. I will spend 2 to get out Artistic Inspiration as an action. Next action, I'm going to attempt to evade the Elder God, or Ancient One. Sorry, I'm currently 4-5. I'll commit a Survey the Area. That'll put me at 9-5. I will use my Artistic Inspiration. I'll spend the Inspiration on it to go to 10. So that'll put us back down to 5. We do evade just barely. Okay, so he's currently evaded. Then I'm going to go ahead and pop a Pinch of the Queen to reveal a card. I picked that one. And then I'm going to take an action to flip this to its other side. And this is just flipping, it doesn't trigger AJ. And remove the decoy from the game. Alright. I think that's everything. I apologize if I made some mistakes. I probably did. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and have Jacqueline go next. I'm going to spin 1 to get out Spectral Shield. I'm going to search top 3 for a card. I will take that Ward of Protection. I'm going to go ahead and move up. And then well, unfortunately, Sword Cane's not going to be very useful anymore. I can do Whispers of Doom, but that difficulty will be like, what, 6? Yep. We just might have to go for gold here. Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna blast the guy. So we'll go Shriveling. We'll go 8 to 5 against this guy. I will use my ability. Alright, I'll take the +1, so I definitely pass. When I hit, I reveal a concealed mini card. If it's a decoy, cancel it. Okay, I cancels all the damage. And then I'll spend an action to flip Sable Glass and get rid of that decoy. And then I will shift, because it says flip, it doesn't say shift, so I can still shift this. So I'll shift this card and discard a Whispers of Doom. Or sorry, does it get set aside as a hollow? Yeah, set aside as a hollow. So this will get set aside as a hollow. This will get set aside as a hollow. And then that is shifting, so that will go there. And then that will shift back up to its stable side. And then Thorn, since I did get a hollow, I'll get to take another immediate action. I'm going to blast with Shriveling. This will put us at 8 to 5 again. And yeah, we'll just go 8 to 5. Good luck. This thing is unfortunately an outsider, so it does automatically fail. And I do take 2 horror for it. One will get soaked by Spectral Shield, and then I'll take the horror. That is unfortunate. Alright. Well, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and go to enemy phase. Enemy ain't going to do anything. He'll ready at this point. Another Spectral Shield. Crack the case. Alright, Mythos. We're at 6 of 10. I will spend 1 to take a horror and just get rid of this monster so I don't deal with him. And over here we got Compulsion. Cool. Alright, investigation phase. I'm going to start with Ursula. Ursula is going to do a Compulsion. We're fine. Place this. Our first action will be at +3. I'm going to go ahead and investigate with Grim Memoir. Yeah, we'll just investigate with Grim Memoir. Actually, no, I'll do AJ. Oh, yeah, that's right. I should have known. Oh, well. Yeah, so I'll investigate with Grim Memoir. We have Red Clock, so we're at 10 to 6. We'll go 11 to 6. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I forgot about Magnifying Glass. 8. We're 11 to 6. We pass by a bunch. We draw this, unfortunately. Okay. Reveal that. I did 3 damage again. Alright. At this rate, Ursula's going to kill this thing before Jacqueline actually gets a hit in. Alright. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and... I don't have enough to do that. That is unfortunate. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and investigate. I'm just going to commit... Oh, I can't investigate again. Stupor came out. I don't know if it applies on the turn that you played it or you drew it, or on the action you drew it, but I'm just going to assume it does. So with that in mind, I'm just going to gain 2 resources, and then I'm going to use Pendant of the Queen. To auto-evade this guy. And and then my Call of the Unknown's going to trigger, but since I have no deck to reshuffle it back into, I'm just going to take the 2 horror, which I'm just going to put on you. So it's just going to get discarded because I have no deck to reshuffle it back into. Also, a good chunk of my deck is hollow now. Alright, Jacqueline. Search top 3. I'll take that Voice of Ra, thank you. Okay. I do like this idea of just blasting the boss and hoping for the best. So we're going to keep doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and blast with Shriveling. We'll be, of course, 8 to 5 again. I'll use my ability with it. And I'm going to commit Spectral Shield and a Voice of Ra just in case. So this will be 10 to 5, I think. Alright, I'll take the -1. I succeed. Alright, got a decoy. Gets cancelled. Okay. Next, I will go ahead and flip the Sable Glass to do that. Then I'm going to shift the Sable Glass. We'll go ahead and get rid of this Whisper of Doom again. You can get rid of the Witten Green. And then I'll have Thorn give me an extra action. And we're going to go ahead and blast with Shriveling again. It'll be 8 to 5. That is a pass. And we got another decoy. And I'm going to go ahead and flip the Sable Glass again to get rid of this last decoy. And at this point, we are probably golden. Alright, enemy phase. Enemy is exhausted. Upkeep. He's going to get unexhausted. We will take a horror for this, which we'll put on the Claret Knight. Go to Mythos. 7 out of 10. Distorted Reasoning, put it into your threat area. You can't perform the same action twice in a row. And test willpower 3 at the end of your turn to get rid of it. Over here, we have Paracausal Entity, which engages us. Top card will be set aside as a hollow, which is not going to happen because it's not a weakness. Or it is a weakness, sorry. Okay, so with all that in mind, let's do this. Ursula's turn. I'll go ahead and place a resource down. I'll use Pen of the Queen to automatically evade or whatever, and I'll reveal this and do 3 damage. And that will kill. If the Mimetic Nemesis is defeated, advance. Of Goldfish and Whales, the entity collapses upon itself. It's a wordless screech washing over the world and worlds beyond, reverberating through your skull, tearing you apart molecule by molecule. You remain tethered to reality only by the energy of your keys, which endure even as all else implodes around you. There is a sensation of tugging at the back of your skull, a feeling of being yanked by a fishhook out of ravaged waters, then darkness. Resolution 1. Alright, Resolution 1. No one's been defeated, so the feeling of being flung across the world does not cease until you strike solid ground. Though your weary body protests, you scamper to your feet and scan your surroundings, ready for anything. But when you realize where you are shocked to find. Lay out the world map on a flat surface. Each investigator tosses a coin or chaos token on the map. Wherever it lands, that is where that investigator ended up. If it lands in the ocean, they ended up by chance on a random boat. We'll just borrow some tokens. Alright. Jacqueline. Share. Yeah, these things don't really fly, to be honest. Let me try that again. Yeah, it honestly just does not fly. These things just do not fly at all. So we'll just say we're in the ocean. It's all good. It's just something goofy. It takes several weeks for you to contact the other members of your cell who've survived the collapsing of the Outsider's realm. It seems that, at least for now, their scheme has been dismantled. Perhaps a long-term vacation is in order. But first, there is one last order of business resolved. Record the Outsiders were stopped. Each investigator suffers 2 physical and mental trauma as they never truly recover from their paradimensional ordeal. Each investigator earns experience equal to victory X and +5 because having saved their dimension from a terrible fate. You win the campaign, you proceed to the epilogue. Epilogue. Talk, Commissioner Taylor commands. You shift in your uncomfortable metal chair, the glaring light of her interrogation lamp nearly blinding you. One wall of the sterile interrogation chamber is covered by a black mirror that reflects you and the commissioner sitting across a desk from one another. Your face is blanched under heavy white light. Knowing the Foundation, several operators are watching and recording your every move from behind the mirror. A thick dossier lies unopened on the desk between you and Taylor. We did not join the coterie, so it's going to be Epilogue 3. You find yourself awkwardly repeating events and names as you struggle to relay your experience to the commissioner. Throughout it all, Taylor remains silent, listening to your various rabbit trails and accounts of events with an air of reserve. When you have finished, she slides a glass of water across the desktop towards you. You see your shadowy reflection glimmer within the black mirror in the corner of your eye. What an unrestrained account, she says matter-of-factly. A heavy silence falls on the commissioner, but as the commissioner makes a near imperceptible nod at the black mirror to her left, then looks back at you. The Foundation thanks you for your service. Understand that everything you have done during your tenure with the Foundation is classified, and you are bound under threat of execution to never share this account with another soul, living or dead. She locks eyes with you. Do you understand? You nod, and the commissioner goes on. It goes without saying, but I must inform you that your temporary cell has been disavowed, and all assets acquired during your Foundation service will be retained for further study and research. Your account of all events involving paracausal disturbance will be extracted, analyzed, and preserved for future analysis. In the campaign log, record the Foundation trust and cell deception. For each of the following that is recorded in your campaign log, mark one tally for Foundation Trust, and then the other one is Cell Deception. We'll do it this way. So, we'll put, so what, top one, yeah, so health will be Trust, and then Deception is the other thing. The cell is assisting Agent Siri. Nope. The cell told the truth to Taylor. We did. Agent Quinn has your back. Nope. And we did not deliver intel. Yep, sounds about right. We aided the night. AJ trust the cell. We made a deal with Thorn. Desi is in my depth. And that's it. So 4 deception, needless to say, probably doesn't like us. If the number of tallies next to Foundation Trust is equal to or greater than the number of tallies next to Cell Deception, proceed to Epilogue 4, otherwise Epilogue 5. Commissioner Taylor opens the dossier in front of her and slides a set of tickets across the table to you. These are one-way tickets that will take you anywhere in the world, no questions asked. Given your troublesome curiosity, I recommend you go somewhere quiet and forgettable. Assume an alias, and take up a profession that does not allow you so much free time or thinking. Oh, and stop wearing that, she says, gesturing offhandedly at your appearance. You interrupt and try to explain yourself. The commissioner holds up one hand to silence you. In truth, I must inform you that you are getting off rather easily here. If the higher-ups had their say, you would have been summarily executed for your reckless handling of this case. The word collusion was tossed around. Had you towed the line, this case might have made your career. In my estimation, you have created far more trouble than you resolved. Taylor stands up, and you stand with her. Several burly suits step through the door behind you, flooding the room with light. The commissioner gives you a firm handshake, her eyes locked with yours. The Foundation thanks you for your service. May we never meet again. The cell was dismantled. File closed. And there you go. All right. So yeah, I heard so many negative things about Scarlet Keys. Obviously, it has a lot of reading. It does. Compared to other campaigns, it certainly has quite a bit. I don't know if it's actually more than Forgotten Age, but it's certainly not as front-loaded as Forgotten Age, it feels like. I mean, there's definitely a good amount in the beginning, but it's kind of broken up with at least your introduction scenario. And then the map stuff doesn't really bother me that much. It's actually kind of neat to kind of plot your course and kind of do your thing here. I mean, the first time I played, I kind of glanced only at the dossiers a little bit, and the dossiers actually have a lot of helpful information. Like, knowing that if I had looked a bit closer, I probably would have known that I needed to go to Moscow first if I wanted to do anything on Havana to make sure I'm well prepared for that. But I mean, I kind of looked at the location. I was like, all right, what locations have scenarios, and be like, all right, maybe I can do a loop down around this way or something along those lines. But yeah, I mean, and for this playthrough, my goal was essentially to see, because I unfortunately on my first playthrough, I hit San Francisco and I was like, oh, cool, there's stuff about Amaranth and I could like do something with her with that extra info. But unfortunately, I got to Marrakesh too late, and so it just auto completed, giving me a trauma and 3 XP for my efforts. So this playthrough, I definitely wanted to at least go to Marrakesh. I also definitely wanted to at least do some scenarios I hadn't done before, which that was successful. Dead Heat I never done before, and I never did Dogs of War before, both of which were a lot of fun to do. I think the only time I got really frustrated, at least on this particular playthrough, was Dealings in the Dark, which I kind of explained on that video. In hindsight, honestly, if I hadn't made the rules mistake and just kept playing through as is, I think I still would have recovered. But man, it was such a rough start. It's definitely overwhelming, which I guess brings me to the conceal mechanic. I think the conceal mechanic is okay. It's very one note. There's very limited things you can do with it. They kind of try to do a little bit fancy things with the locations that are concealed rather than the enemies, but it's kind of just the same thing. It's just, all right. The thing I appreciate about the conceal mechanic is it kind of ensures that everyone can do something. In a lot of the earlier campaigns, if you don't have any enemies out in the field, your thugs don't have much to do, which isn't the end of the world nowadays because there's enough of a card pool where you can flex pretty well, even with a dedicated thug type character. The thing that just made the concealed mechanic rather rough in this particular campaign, where it's introduced, is the difficulties are very high. The shroud values are very high. The symbol tokens have very high modifiers, and so it can be very hard to reveal all the stuff you're revealing. Also, if you just happen to spawn, like if you back-to-back draw enemies that have concealed mechanic, you're just going to get overwhelmed with the concealed cards. It takes an action per card to get rid of, and there's not too many reliable ways to get rid of multiple cards at once. Like the few ways that you can kind of do multiple cards at once is like maybe with like breaking and entering, because that's essentially an investigate and an evade in one. But yeah, it can be a bit overwhelming. That being said, like I said, it did give you a lot of things to do, which was kind of good. Like I said, the narrative didn't bother me that much. Some feedback I have seen about this, or some critique about it, is it doesn't feel like Arkham. I don't fully agree with that assessment. Now, granted, I don't really know what it means by it is Arkham or not. I mean, if you're basing it off Call of Cthulhu, Arkham is definitely its own beast nowadays. I kind of glanced at the design notes, and it kind of mentioned that the red coterie was like something that was introduced in the Call of Cthulhu card game, which was like almost like a Magic the Gathering-esque type game, for lack of a better term. Lack of a better analogy, I guess. And the Red Coterie was just another faction, kind of like the Silver Twilight Lodge. Like I didn't really know much about the Silver Twilight Lodge to begin with, and so the Red Coterie, they're like, yeah, there's not really any information besides them being in the card game, and they're like, all right. And then the people that made this, Mark or whatever, was like, you know what, I can kind of gave them some free flexibility. And honestly, I kind of like the direction they went with it. I know there's been various critiques about Mark in some of the later scenarios he was doing, like Scarlet Keys and Edge of the Earth and things like that. But like I said, as far as like feeling like it's Arkham, the thing that makes this feel different is the fact that it feels more science fiction, which is not that doesn't necessarily mean it's not Arkham. I mean, this is a game where we literally have lightning guns. So I do kind of like the fact that there was a little bit more of like a science X-Files type thing going on, which was kind of neat. I mean, I said it before, this is very the way the files are presented for the various flavor text, like, you know, file 21F, and even has like subject classes for these things, very similar to like SCP type stuff. I think that is really interesting. The concept of the outsiders is kind of neat, where it's like, you know, people are getting like replaced with essentially identical copies and things like that. And that's not only is it replacing people, but buildings and other parts of the world. Like literally everything was being replaced, which is kind of neat. It's definitely different. Like if you're someone that's like a hardcore fan of like, you know, Lovecraftian stuff, then yeah, this definitely stands out as something different because it is different. It's it's practically just made up from scratch with very little information from the card game. So, but I think it was pretty neat. It's still like some people say it didn't feel like a horror setting, which I mean it was. I mean it kind of had a little bit of everything. I mean it had zombies and undead and dead heat. Dogs of War literally just kind of has people just murdering each other. Sanguine Shadows is essentially where in the world is Carmen Sandiego. It even has a person that looks like Carmen Sandiego. There's stuff about cultists doing their thing. Dancing Mad, of course, you're just getting, not Dancing Mad, but on thin ice, you're getting, hunted down by some otherworldly entity, very similar to the Hound of, was it Tyndalos or whatever it's called. Dancing Mad, you're literally, getting abducted and replaced, essentially. I mean, like I said, I don't really understand all the feedback. So, I mean, I'm glad I tried out this campaign, and I'm glad I recorded it. Like I said, it still does have a lot of reading, especially if you're in a situation where you're just going to place without actually, looking up anything. Like, if you just, ignore the reading and you're just kind of faffing about, I can definitely see that can be kind of frustrating, because you start in London, you can be like, oh, I'm just going to go to, Rome, Stockholm, and Moscow. All three of those locations don't have anything going on, or at least not anything in the beginning going on, besides some modifications here and there. It's not until you hit specific locations like Constantinople, Alexandria. Yeah, I mean, I put resource tokens next to the locations that actually have scenarios, which, I mean, if you are just someone that cares only about the scenarios, you do have that option. I mean, you could just go back to back. All of them have the little file numbers on them, I think. I mean, I don't know if this is an addition for Tabletop Simulator or not. I do have the Scarlet Keys campaign, I think. I know I have the investigator thing. I may have the campaign pack, but I don't open them because I play it digitally. But yeah, if you just wanted to focus on scenarios, you could just do a loop that way. That's kind of viable. There's also just still a lot of stuff. There's mysteries and stuff that you can try to work out, and the ending kind of implies you can have other things happen. Like, gameplay-wise, the endings don't really have anything because you're finishing the campaign, but you could be like, I want to end and join the Foundation in the end. So you'll try to figure out a way to make that happen, and kind of gives you hints on how to make that happen. And then it's like, oh, you want to join the Red Coterie? Then you need to work with certain characters in the map and go from there. Or if you want to overthrow the Coterie, you just need to focus on certain other characters, like over in North America and South America. And then, of course, there's this hidden scenario, which I'm pretty sure the way you're supposed to find out about Without a Trace is probably to follow along the lines that we found in Rio de Janeiro with the zookeeper guy, or the zoologist guy, and try to find out information about that, because obviously there's stuff mentioned about that. And as far as the Shades of Suffering, I'm pretty sure that's going to be if you go to Shanghai and Kathmandu and try to follow your buddy and learn about that, and obviously that will get you involved with was it Su San Yang, I believe. Of course, there's also the stuff about Aliki, which all the dossiers. Yeah, I will say if you did sit down and try to read through all the dossiers at once, it can definitely be a bit overwhelming. I will say playing this physically, I can definitely understand a lot of the feedback. Notice I have 3 rule books copied. I have 3 copies of the rule book out, or the campaign book out. I have all the dossiers copied so I can see them a lot easier. I have the map out, have all this out. It's a lot easier to play this digitally. Obviously, this was made back in COVID, so playing it digitally was probably a thing, even though they tried to not promote that on their end for obvious reasons. But yeah, like I said, I really like this campaign. I'll probably do another run at another time. I think I have it planned for probably another thing that's going to be a more long-term thing, but we'll see how it goes. As for the decks, the characters and decks, so for Jacqueline, I built her as a flex, because that's usually what I do with a Mystic, because that's just how they are. That being said, I went really asset heavy this time around, which is more than I usually do. I usually just only have a few, usually I have Shrivelings, Rite of Seekings, and then I just hope that my Arcane Initiate pulls through. This time around, I went really asset heavy. I had 8 spell assets: two Rite of Seekings, two Shrivelings, two Eyes of the Dreamers, and two Breaths of the Sleeper. So essentially 4 for clooving, 4 for thugging, and it was nice. But you probably noticed, like, more often than not, my hand was just filled with a lot of extra spell cards that I just or asset cards that I just didn't need to use. Like I think only once did I ever actually use Rite of Seeking. All the other times, anytime I did clooving, I used Eyes of the Dreamer. Mainly because Eyes of the Dreamer is really good with Spectral Shield, but also it's just kind of convenient to use because I can always use my with Jacqueline, specifically with Jacqueline, you can actually get the extra clue a lot easier by just drawing a bunch of extra tokens with her ability. The one scenario where I did use Rite of Seeking, it definitely helped a lot. It definitely like doubled my tempo, like crazy. Like we zoomed through it. But like I said, there was just a lot of situations where I just did not need to play Rite of Seeking. I did originally have a version where I had the was it Sign Magic, where I get the extra Arcane slot, but I felt like I was not going to have enough money for that. Though it looks like I might have actually been able to do that a lot without too much issue, but I still don't think that would have been the way to go. I did make some adjustments to the deck since then. I now only have 6 assets, and I either will favor one side or the other, either fighting or clooving. And the other thing I also did was I put a little bit more emphasis on some skill cards. Usually I tend to try to rely on just having that high stat, but the difficulties in this campaign were pretty high. And the disadvantage of Eyes of the Dreamer and Breath of the Sleeper is they don't get upgraded. So you're just kind of using your raw stats for this. So I re-added Guts back in. And then the other thing I think one of the MVPs for this playthrough was Whispers of Doom. It went really well with Jacqueline because I didn't have to worry about autofails as much. It was just really, really powerful. Not only did it take out any normal enemy, but it's a parlay effect, so you don't provoke attacks. You can also use it on aloof enemies, which there's a lot of aloof enemies in this campaign. So, and majority of the elite enemies that you deal with from the code rate usually have about 3 health. So it was just a kill spell. It was really good. What's also nice, well, what's bad about it is it costs 3, but what's nice about it is it costs 3 because Uncage the Soul level 3, of course, I can just recur it and use it. So I think that went pretty well. One thing I've been also, I guess, been assessing for my Mystic decks is with Spectral Shield, I don't really need Deny Existence as much. Don't get me wrong, Deny Existence is still good, level 0 or level 5. They're both really, really good. Being able to get the stupid like shadow card that makes you spend a clue or take 2 damage and just say no to it is fantastic. But the fact that I have the Spectral Shield, in most cases, I usually don't need that extra soak. Or I don't need that extra negation. And more often than not, I find myself never in situations where I discard a lot of cards that much. So I've been filtering out Deny Existence. I mean, my default used to be for a lot of Mystic cards is, 2 Deny Existences, 2 Ward of Protections, and then go. But now I'm just like, you know what? I could probably just be okay with maybe 1 Deny Existence. In some cases, I might be okay with just 1 Spectral Shield. Usually I only have 1 Spectral Shield in my deck, but I went with 2 this time around just to get more consistency. But honestly, more often than not, I ended up just committing that second one. So it wasn't too bad. Arcane Initiate level 3, I always like. I think one thing I should do with Jacqueline earlier is pick up Charisma earlier so I can make use of both Arcane Initiates. Granted, this time around, I did not actually get both out, but all the previous times where I didn't have Charisma, I always had that second one in my hand, and I usually used it just as a means to discard something, or discard bait, and that was kind of about it. Sorcane was fantastic. More often than not, I didn't really need it. Its ability was unfortunately not as good, simply because of how Concealed works, but whenever I did actually need it, it was very useful. It being fast is always fantastic. Also, just having that backup means of fighting something is always welcomed. I mean, with also, I guess one regret I have is not taking what's it called? Something of curses. A string of curses. String of Curses would have been great in this one. Since I had multiple ways of recurring things with like Prescient and stuff like that, I think that would have been better. Yeah, see, like Prescient. Yeah, Prescient was fantastic. Unfortunately, I just didn't have things I really cared to recur. But String of Curse, the only things I recurred were my Whispers of Doom in most cases. But if I had String of Curses, that would have given me more opportunities to auto evade an enemy, to trigger, you know, take care of concealed cards. What's great about String of Curses is if you use it to get rid of a concealed card, I think you don't place Doom on anything, so you don't have to worry about it. And you can also also discovers a clue. I guess that's one thing I should talk about as far as the campaign itself. Concealed is very confusing. Like it did its best to kind of explain how it works, but like the idea is like if you take those respective actions, evade, investigate, or fight, that's straightforward. And then it has things like if you auto get a clue, auto do damage, or auto evade, that can also work, as well as like various events that do the same thing. And it's essentially one effect per thing. The thing is like String of Curses. I pick to auto evade the enemy, places a Doom on them, and makes them immune to damage for that round, and I discover a clue. Is that all one effect? Or is that two effects? Is that an evade and a successful an auto clue? Like, I don't know. And I guess that's the other thing. Yeah, no, that's okay. Then that part's fine. So yeah, I'm just not sure. So that being said, I would still take String of Curses for this campaign. It definitely makes things a lot easier because being able to just spin one and throw out a String of Curses that auto reveal a concealed card is actually pretty good. So yeah, I've been definitely making a lot of adjustments to Jacqueline Fine's deck. I think probably going maybe like 4 Clover spells and then some Shrivelings, and then the rest of it being like I have Sword Canes and Whispers of Doom and String of Curses to help back that up. Might be the best course of action. But honestly, I might be okay with just treating her just as a thug that has some cleaving potential. Obviously, the big disadvantage for Shriveling, of course, is eventually you'll run out of ammo. Breath of Sleeper and Eyes of the Dreamer, of course, can function without using ammo, which is always good. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I will say the weakness that we got, the Day of Reckoning, was pretty rough. Because it ensures that Dark Future can't get removed. I definitely had a few scenarios where I got the Dark Futures and it just stayed out forever, and it really made things a headache. I didn't even talk about the key mechanics. I do like the idea that you can pick up these keys, and I do like the fact that you can make decisions where it's like, you know what, I really want this key, but I know it's going to piss off this guy, but if I have this key, I feel like I can make more progress type situation, which would be kind of interesting. In most cases where you had a situation where you could just forcibly take the key, it usually will mean that potential ally will now be a potential enemy for the future. But for the most part, it wasn't too big of a deal. For this playthrough, we didn't really have to deal with the coterie too much because I was playing pretty nice with everybody. By the end of the game, we only had two members of the coterie going after us, and the last one was literally our last scenario, which didn't ever matter. So we only had the Red Glove Man to bothering us, which granted, the Red Glove Man is actually pretty annoying to deal with. Obviously, having just the Red Glove Man can be kind of dangerous, simply because he automatically is the one that steals your one of your random keys, which can be pretty rough. The keys themselves are really neat. I do like the shift mechanic. I do like how it's a lightning bolt effect, and you can use it to also put. It's essentially a free thing you can do, and then if you happen to really want that ability back, you have to pay a pretty obvious cost for it. So yeah, it's all pretty neat on that front. Anyway, I'm kind of going all over the place, but Ursula. At this point, I'm pretty happy with where Ursula's at. This campaign, it was a little rougher. Obviously, having only 4 book can definitely eat away at you. Getting Stupor, of course, was probably the worst thing. We didn't have a lot of ways to deal with it. I did have, of course, a medical student, so I did at least have more than what most people would have. but it was still pretty rough. We also had pretty bad luck with Segment of Onyxes. I felt like I think most of the scenarios I didn't ever actually get it out. But the fact that I still did rather well even without it, I think was still a testament to show that this deck has improved. It's not as heavily reliant on Pin of the Queen as usual. I definitely like Gold Pocket Watch. I know it's very expensive, 8 experience, but being able to just say, this round, everything's just going to be okay. Nothing's going to change. Nothing new is going to spawn, and just kind of go is pretty good. Yeah, like I said, this is a great campaign. I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely a little high on the difficulty side. The line between easy and normal is very, very blurred, more than any other campaign I've played, just purely because the symbols are just that punishing in this particular campaign. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. And yeah, I am the Depressed Hero. This was Arkham Horror, the card game, the Scarlet Keys, with Jacqueline Fine and Ursula Downs. As always, feel free to speak up if there's any mistakes, but by the time you guys see this video, I will be probably multiple campaigns ahead. But either way, I'll see you guys next time.